What are some key indicators you've noticed in your own experience that have come up when you're on the brink of a breakthrough, basically saying to not give up and to keep going through?
The definition of a breakthrough is you don't know.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is why I keep going back to what I want to tell everybody, which is how about you make it about enjoying it versus the need for the breakthrough, right? I appreciate the 6 people that understood what I was fucking saying, which is gonna make me say it again that more people didn't go all the way there with me. I'm gonna say it again. The concept of a breakthrough is a really great question because a lot of people here are grinding and they're asking themselves, hey, I wanted to have this business or this thing. Even in relationships, I wanted this. And now it's been a while and it's not there. Is it ever gonna happen? Should I jump off? Should I change? This is man and woman's biggest question a lot of times. And the answer is you're not gonna know. You're just not. Sure, you can see gradual, but like you know this, when you're grading your own homework, it's not the truth. Like most people think their kid is good looking. You know, but in reality, like not everyone is good looking, but we all as parents think our kids are the cutest. We're grading our own homework. We're not letting the merit of the world grade. Same here. I'm thinking of this from a different perspective. I'm asking you, why do you need the breakthrough?
Yeah, I think it's the people pleasing and this not being able to say no to other people and wanting to, to prove it to yourself and to other people, and you don't want to do that, no.
There is no proving to oneself.
Yeah.
That's disguised to, I want to prove it to someone else.
Yeah.
Proving to oneself, you never think about proving. You're just living. You don't even talk in words of proof. You're trying to prove to someone else.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mommy,
so much.
daddy, like those things. And that's what we're all doing. I don't want you to prove to any, if you were driven, this is why Star Wars figured it out. I mean it. There's either the good side, like the Jedis and the dark side, they're just so close, it's an inch. They're being fueled by different things, but they both get there. But in the end, the light, love wins. You can't be driven by proving it to the parent or another person that fucked you up. You have to find a way to do it for yourself. Then you're not looking for the breakthrough, you're just living happily.
Thank you so much.
And as by the sounds of it, you're very close with your parents.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, do you have any advice around that, and maybe what would be the best way to get them on board with what I'm doing?
There is no convincing in life.
Oh.
I want everybody to hear this. This is a huge problem right now. The answer to the question is go and execute and be successful and watch how your parents change their tune.
Okay.
There's that.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna use your question to talk about something else. There is no convincing in life. This is why politics makes me laugh. As if your view on the world is the right view. Everyone's spending all their time trying to convince everyone else to see the world exactly the way they see it. Instead of convincing, brother, why not take that energy and make it about conviction? So not convincing, have conviction with yourself on this journey and be empathetic to why your parents see it this way. They might have been academic, they might have immigrated here and they didn't do all this hard work for you to take a high risk. Like parents navigate through fear. They're scared you're gonna fail.
Okay, yeah.
The parents also use their children as a proxy to their own self-esteem too often.
Wow, okay.
They're not only scared that you're gonna fail for you because they love you, they're scared that you're gonna fail because they're worried about what other people are gonna think about you.
Okay.
Right? Have compassion for that, but I have a news alert. You're not gonna convince them. So don't spend any minutes on that because you need those minutes to go and execute your shit. I think there's a lot to that. So a couple things. One, the conversation we had earlier about accountability really matters. I'll give you an example. When I was 14, The conversation wasn't TikTok because the internet hadn't happened and phones hadn't happened. The conversation was supermodels that were 90 pounds that led to every girl in my high school being in the bathroom during school throwing up because they thought 90 pounds was the gold standard. And the demon of the day was MTV and magazines. In America in the 1930s, this question was asked, it was around alcohol, right? We needed to ban it. We banned alcohol in America, right? I think this question's gonna evolve into non-lazy parenting, accountability, and the way everything works in life, which is balance. There's people that talk about sugar this way. There's people that talk about speed limits this way. I think that there's a lot of things we can talk about, and I think that by the time we get around to properly regulating or understanding this, the attention of the consumer is gonna go somewhere else. I believe you and I will be sitting here in 20 years talking about the dangers of the metaverse because we don't leave our home because we're in VR, and we'll look back to the days of TikTok and think of it as mundane, the way that everyone told me that playing video games all day was fucking up everyone, and that's the reason everyone had ADD 20 years ago was because we played video games all day. So I think there is balance in everything, and I believe in government playing a role in regulating, but I really believe in humans thinking about the accountability of it. And so, no, I don't think TikTok's gonna change because TikTok's empty. TikTok's a super empty vessel, brother. Their business is very simple. We are going to build an algorithm that only gives you more of what you've shown us you want. Period. And so I think that that's where the world's gonna go. That we're gonna continue to get smarter about accountability, just like we did in America with alcohol. Banning alcohol didn't fix the problem. Educating people of how to find balance with alcohol has made the problem better. Not demonizing people that have alcoholism and realizing it's a disease has made the issue better. Not talking about domestic violence as something that was whispered behind the scenes, but putting it to the forefront has made things better. So I think that's what's gonna end up happening with it.
Mate, I will say that having a conversation eye to eye and in person, you're a great example. It's 1,000x compared to a screen.
Thank you, that's it. I don't believe being nice and doing things you like are more likely to lead to money because I want that to be the case. I actually want to be right. I need everybody to hear this. I'm not talking about this because it's how I'd like it to be. I talk about it because it's how it is. And so I'd much rather be right than almost anything. It's enjoyable. I mean it. Like, I think people can associate with that. It's why I do all my predictions when they're not really predictions because they already happened, which is why I'm not wrong often. I just observe quicker, analyze faster, and create content around it quicker than most. What Elizabeth just talked about is super real. Like, I'm telling you, I watch all of you, the world, chasing the next trend. I've literally watched in the last 4 years, hundreds of people that I see running around the internet that have gone from cannabis experts to blockchain experts to psychedelic experts to AI experts when they were never an expert of jack shit. Stop chasing and start looking inside. And for her, it was like, hey, I like having this business, but like me, it feels even better of what it's doing with the people I'm working with, or for whom, or who's buying my thing. And like, if that's you, then that's what you need to focus on more than the P&L or maximizing your funnel. I think that most humans complain about dumb shit and then something real happens and you realize how dumb it was. And so, you know, when life throws you very challenging moments, the places I go are, well, one, you had no choice, right? It's not like you could predict that a flood was gonna come and do these horrible things. You have to adapt to reality. everybody here in their life will be met with real challenges. You know, God willing, most people live a long life, which also then comes along with losing people that you love so much. You know, I think many people have all agreed around the world that the scariest thing in life is losing a child. Many people will go through that. There are always challenges, but I think when I hear that question, my brain goes into two places. Deep, deep gratitude for waking up every day and that not happening. And I think people struggle with enjoyment in the simplicity of that, which is why I push it so hard. I can tell you it is foundational to my happiness. You know, when I wake up this morning, I'm not thinking about how cool it is to have an audience like this come out for me on a Saturday. Do you know how humbling this is? Do you know how grateful I mean, I love you back. But it's, you know, this is a Saturday. Like, fuck. You know, like, thank you. But I don't think about that. I don't think about that video I watch almost predominantly embarrassed. You know, really, I mean it. That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about like, when I woke up like, ooh, good. Another day when nothing crazy happened. And I think that way every day. And then when things do happen that are challenging, ironically, the first place I go is gratitude for the fact that it doesn't normally happen or it hadn't happened before. And then I go into getting my stomach punched and dealing with the reality of it and trying to lead and clean up and fix and try to make things better for tomorrow because you have no choice. I don't see a whole lot of value in dwelling. Or, you know, I think that there should be room for space for you to, you know, go through the pain. You know, I think a lot of people put up a front, especially with a death or something extreme, like you should have some breathing room to mourn and, you know, deal with that. But to dwell and complain is the least thoughtful and strategic energy in the world. And right now we have a lot of dwelling and complaining normally about shit you can't control that actually isn't fucking you up. It's the dwelling and complaining that's fucking you up. I think too many people are playing defense. I think too many people are trying to win like the 94 Knicks, like 79 to 76. And I'm out here trying to win 149 to 146 offense. Because once you stop hearing judgment and you're not actually worried about what people have to say, you can just go fast. You start doing shit. Do you know how many of you right now in this room have a real passion for some shit that isn't cool right now, and so you're just not doing it? Yet it's exactly the right thing. The amount of friends I had back in the day that loved video games but got off of it because they didn't see a career for it, or even at one time, believe it or not, video games was dorky shit, who now regret at 40 because they were fucking great at it and they could be the Tony Hawk of esports right now. They could have been that OG, but they just didn't see it because they worried about judgment and they didn't realize the world evolved. That gets me to my final point, and then we can get into real specific questions. Whatever your you know, the biggest eye opener for AJ going into the football business, like as hardcore fans as we've been, as how close we've been to teams and owners. The owner of Miami Dolphins is my business partner. Like as close as I've been to it, now that I'm really, really in it, I just can't believe how many of you don't fully love the game. It's just your ticket. It's just your process. It's amazing. I don't throw that as judgment. I think that's fucking fresh. Like it makes sense to me. Like I love it so much, and I so wish I could, right? That I was naive and did what I always make fun of people, like focus group of one. It has been eye-opening to how many people actually don't love it. They were just blessed. See, I got real lucky. The luckiest shit on earth is the thing you love is the thing that you're best at. And I think that's me. Like when I was 6, I wanted to wash people's cars. When it snowed and we had snow days here, I was shoveling snow, not making snowmen, right? Like literally, I don't know how many of you follow me, but if you see what I'm doing in garage sailing around here in Jersey, like I'm not doing that for show, I fucking love it. Like I'd rather wake up on Saturday at 6 in the morning and drive to fucking, you know, Metuchen's town-wide garage sale and buy some shit for $1 and sell it for 11 bucks on eBay. That fucking gives me way bigger of a high than fucking almost anything besides watching a Jets game. That is literally probably my favorite thing except a Sunday in the fall. And so that gets me to my final point. If you're sitting here right now and you're real fucking passionate about something that doesn't have to do with the four walls we're in right now, you need to lean into that shit. Because that's the thing the internet's doing. The amount of people that can make a real living around having a podcast or a vlog or flipping shit they love versus getting a job they fucking hate, and they can make as much or around the same much around having a fucking podcast around Fortnite versus going and working in finance because they interned this summer in Wall Street and they think that's where the money is. That shit, I know nobody here believes, but I've been saying it for a decade and I'm watching it every day and it's real. And so I highly recommend, like I'm really hopeful, like honestly, when I come, just to put into context, including the left side here, when I come to these rooms, honestly, I'm realistic. I'm just hoping to penetrate one head, one dome. I'm aware that like I'll come in, it'll be good talk, it'll be cool. You know, if some friends that think I'm cool, you think I'm cool, it's great. I'm hoping, but on God, I'm hoping to get through one person's head on some of these things because I know I see shit that other people don't. That's been my calling card. And so I hope you've been really listening, I really do. Well, I'm just hanging with some individuals in the green room. I was talking about like, there's a lot of people who are like, Gary, you know, I'm about to start this business and I'm scared to fail. And my brain always goes into like, you're probably gonna fail. Especially if you've never done business before. Like watching entrepreneurship and business get cool in the last 10, 15 years has been frightening. Like most of the beautiful faces I'm looking at here right now have not put in the practice nor have the talent to actually do it. But that's not bad. That's actually epic if you actually go into it knowing you're gonna fail. And so, you know, because all I ever did as a kid was business, and I had natural talent in it, of course this happened. You know, many people stay students and athletes for the predominant part of their life as a child. And then they go to more school, and then they go to real life. And they're confused to why it's hard. It's because you haven't lived real life yet. You've been playing in a fake environment. And so I learned all the mistakes at 6 and 8 and 10 and 13 and 12 and 14 and 19 and 23, and I still make a shitload. But if you've not trained at all for a marathon, how the fuck are you gonna run? And so for a lot of people here who are deciding to run for the first time in an environment like that, you should, whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, but to go in with audacity that you think it's gonna work when you never trained is fucking insane. And so like, people always roll up at me like, Garyvee, like at the airport, Garyvee, it's so fun. Bro, I'm gonna build $1 billion company. I'm like, all right. Like, you know, if I ask them one question, they're like, no, not yet. But I'm like, then you're probably not. And that's okay. Like, I think people have what to put on a pedestal all fucked up. You know, $1 billion company, like that's for 0.0000000000001% of people. Like, how about enjoying the process of building a company and hoping it doesn't go out of business? Because if you pull that off, you're fucking remarkable. Because 99% of people go out of business. I get a lot of questions about like, Gary, that's fine and dandy, but my mom is terminally ill and she's gonna be gone in less than 2 years for sure. And you can't tell me patience, I have to make it before she goes. Yeah. And I say to that person, this is incredibly challenging. I'm so sorry. This is the worst, fuck. I'm devastated. But you being impatient and taking shortcuts is not gonna create the thing you want anyway. Okay. I'm giving you the answer to the following. Yeah. As their health deteriorates, so what do you, like, talk it through logically for me. Yeah. Building anything meaningful takes time. Yeah. So what are you gonna do differently? Like what's gonna happen? You think there's a shortcut? You think I'm gonna tell you some trick? You think I'm gonna give you a tidbit that like, it's just not how it fucking works.
It's just like, you know, I know you talk about, you know, you gave up your 20s to like live out your dreams and stuff like that. Like I've done the same.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You haven't.
No, but I've given up a lot, right? Like
what? But you didn't give up. You just said I've given up my 20s. You're 22. You haven't started.
Okay. like I don't go out, I don't lean into that
That's
stuff.
good.
You know, I lean into doing things that I enjoy rather than like going for things that have instant gratification,
Well,
right?
well, hold on. You just said you lean into things that you enjoy.
Like that make me happy.
Well, then you didn't give up shit. Sounds like you're being selfish.
You're giving up going out, things like that.
But you don't like that anyway. You like this more. So what the fuck did you give up?
I guess that's true.
Okay, so thank you.
I guess that's true.
But I want to help you here. This is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
You didn't give it up.
Yeah.
So keep going.
Yeah. So I guess just for me, like I watch your content.
Good.
And I actually act on it. You
Okay.
know, patience, gratitude, execution all the time. How do we overcome this issue of patience when there's like, you know, things that just can't be changed? Do you recommend taking shortcuts? Do you recommend taking a faster route? Like,
You watch my content and think I'm going to tell you to take a shortcut?
well, that's the only question I have.
What's the shortcut? Talk this through because it's very fascinating to me. Yeah. Talk me through this shortcut. Like shortcut.
Like,
what are you gonna do? What's the business?
well, my dad's business?
Yeah.
He's a chauffeur business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what shortcut are you going to take to make this chauffeur business 10 times bigger to make it before their health deteriorates?
Clickbait stuff. I'll be honest, like.
What's that?
Clickbait stuff.
So do that.
Yeah, I guess.
What's clickbait stuff?
I don't know, like shady marketing strats, you know? That
Like what?
I can't think of them on the spot because I try to be genuine when I market.
But like, what do you think's gonna happen? What's shady? You're not doing a fucking click funnel and a mastermind.
True.
So what's shady? What are you gonna like trick someone to take the fucking cab? Like what are you gonna knock on people's door and throw them in the car and drive and then tell them they owe you $30? What the fuck are you talking about?
Good point.
Why I'm doing this with you is you're talking philosophy. The biggest issue that so many people have is they talk about things in theory versus reality. If you just listen to this conversation, I'm doing this for everyone here, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm
gonna try my best.
Yeah, but like, you know, which is amazing. Like, you're coming from a good place. You'd like this for them, but like, I just also don't think you have an answer to the shortcut.
Right.
So you have no other choice.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do when you start for your dad's business? What's the plan?
Well, he's had it for a while, and honestly, I love you, Dad, but it hasn't been profitable for a while.
Yep.
So I'm relaunching it. You know, I'm gonna be doing the advertising for it. I'm gonna try and manage his finances, and I really want to just like boom his business. You know, like
Well, just by cutting costs.
Yeah.
And making it not profitable.
Yeah.
You've already advanced it dramatically.
That's right. Yeah.
That's not a shortcut.
Yeah.
That's working a P&L properly.
Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
And just one more thing. You said if you don't ask, you'll never know. So
That's right.
Would I ever be able to get you on my podcast, which is about finding gratitude and happiness?
You know, one thing that I said up there is I'm working more on my candor.
Yeah.
And so,
You can be honest.
no, listen, I'm working on it too. Like, no bullshit. 10 years ago, I would sit here and be like, yes, and everybody would clap, and then like there'd be an 80% chance I wouldn't do it, right? And I don't want to be that person. The answer is maybe.
Okay.
If you email me, and in the title put, I was the kid that was looking for the shortcut.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we'll sneak it in.
What are some things that you do specifically in practice with your children to instill these things?
I do very similar things. So what he's referring to, for the people that are really deep in my content, I talk about these singular moments where I got positive reinforcement. My mom, the thing I think a lot about with parenting is like, if you tell your kids it's all about straight A's, they get formed into like believing and listening to the system, and they just become workers or listen blindly. Or if you praise your children their whole lives for being beautiful, they become insecure as they get older because their validation sits in their looks or their athletic ability or their school. So I think a big thing for all leaders here, whether for parents or your employees, is what are you praising and validating? And so for me, I follow a very similar blueprint. You know, with my son, he's got a lot of empathy. He's got a lot of feelings towards his friends. You know, I think about this one game he had in baseball where he hit a line drive and it hit the coach in the chest. He fucking nailed it. It was a great hit. And instead of running to the base, he stopped and went and checked on the coach. And I continue to bring that up to him literally every other week, that he had more compassion to see if the coach was good than his own selfish needs or excitement to succeed in the sport he was playing. With my daughter, I think about things about like when I see that she's not putting too much pressure on herself. You're basically watching and you're thinking about what validation systems you can do on things that are gonna benefit them based on their personalities. Back to the reverse engineering we talked about earlier. So, you know, look, I think if you love yourself and you're good to other people, your life will always be good. There's unlimited people on earth who are deeply happy making $46,000 a year in annual income. They exist at scale. And so I think we put so much time and effort into so many other things, and you know, for me, I'm spending all my time trying to make sure that they're just happy, actually. And it starts with, you know, reinforcing nice behavior, either for others, think about the first story I told you, or to oneself. Think about the second story. You know, for me, if I'm thinking about creating a curriculum, the concept of information memorization is ludicrous. Asking kids to memorize stuff for tests is silly when we have technology where it is today. For me, I would try to build a school that was building self-esteem and was teaching kids how to interact and was teaching kids practical things like real rules of society, like competition and merit, how to pay your taxes, like what life insurance means. It would be completely based on common sense and kindness. Of course, like when people are like, no, Gary, you don't get it. You have to teach core skills. I'm like, do you know how many people are homeschooled and learn their own, like you can teach, like core skills are pick upable. Like they're there, they're always there. Like, yeah, okay, you'll teach math, but like, I just think that we don't think about positioning people for real life. It's all academia for the sake of academia.
Yeah, we have this cool opportunity to personalize the learning, right? So, like, is there a class, is there something you'd love to go back and do differently?
All of it. I fucking hated school.
Yeah.
You know, like the fact that I wasn't taught like about marketing or like, you know, proper investing or just normal shit. Like it's crazy. We teach no life skills.
And to the parents that are worried about privacy of AI data, do you think that's a thing that's we're just going to shift our mindset around that?
Every single person in this room's privacy and data has been compromised already.
Yeah.
It has. Listen, nobody wants their data or privacy compromised, but it's already happened. Like every government's been hacked, every organization, all your banks have been hacked, like it's all there. I know what you're doing tonight. Yes.
I grew up not very well off, and I started my own business so that I've got the time freedom to be able to drop them off at school, pick them up from school.
It's awesome.
And basically provide the kind of life that I never had.
Amazing.
The problem where I'm starting to feel torn is I have such a time commitment in what I'm doing that I feel like it's taken me away from the kids who are the driving force of everything I do.
So don't.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have enough time to fulfill both. And
but you do. What you're doing is you're judging yourself on ideology. And you're trying to be perfect. And you think it's a game of or, not and. And you're saying that because I didn't drop off my kids today on this Tuesday because I went to this business thing, I fucked up, when in reality, your kids have no prayer of remembering that shit in 15 years.
It's true. All right, cool.
Brother, this is the black and white shit that we gotta get out of. The fact that you're even trying, your kids are gonna feel that. Who the fuck is perfect?
Not me.
Nobody. Of course you're not perfect. Nobody is. But you're trying, and you clearly have the intent. Sounds like your kids are super lucky. And so if you've got to go hard for a month because there's an opportunity in what you're doing, and you might miss the ball game or dropping them off, it's just a tiny blip. How old are your kids?
9 and 6.
I want you to tell all of us right now, every day of your 9 and 6-year-old life, go.
Oh, can't do that.
Tell me 25 things that happened to you when you were 9.
Couldn't do that either.
Then I think you should go do both.
Thanks, Gary.
You understand? Like, you remember what you feel, not every detail. We're beating, this is what I'm talking about. I'm so happy he came up and, brother, that was such a good one. Do you know how many people you just helped? Like, right? How many people did that just help? This concept, like, I don't know what people are doing. Like, that you have to be perfect for your kids every day. You have to love your kids. You don't have to go to every fucking game. Most of your kids suck at the game anyway. Like, literally, like, we created this fucking pressure on ourselves. Nobody can do everything. You have to provide for your family and your employees and go to every, like, fuck. Like, you know, like, little Ricky's gonna be okay if you miss one fucking game. And if you don't want to, then don't. Then your business will make a little less money, that's good. But it's not about the money, is it? You need it for yourself. This is what I keep telling people. If you're a provider, financially or emotionally, you have to protect yourself first. Because if you're doing for everyone else and not yourself, you're gonna eventually break and the whole thing's gonna fall apart. The only way to be selfless is to start by being selfish.
Do you have like a daily self-love ritual or something that you practice to either stay happy or maintain that self-worth?
Yeah, but it's not even like daily, it's almost minute by minute. I just am incapable of losing the perspective of the truth. You know, like, it's really interesting to watch the world get more spiritual, right? There's so much on that now. And I love it. I love that people have found different ways, whether they're doing meditation, whether they're walking on grass to get grounded, whether they're fucking doing psychedelic. I don't give a shit. Whatever makes people happy, I'm about. It's just fascinating for me because it all just makes me happier and happier by the nanosecond because it just is for me. You know, it's super real. When I said to you I can get way more squishy, my most inner circle, my friends and family, laugh about the whole Garyvee thing so much because I'm such an aggressive communicator in my content because I get hyped and I get excited. And unlike some people, when the camera comes on, they feel weird. The camera comes on me and I think I'm Randy the Macho Man Savage. You know, like I go crazy, but fuck man, am I super chill. And what the fuck is there to stress about? You're gonna be dead for a long time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So back to the point of like me saying I could be way more squishy and back to the point of not being attached to it. Like I'm on some nothing matters shit. And I don't think anything matters. Nothing. Zero. Just like fucking be happy today. You know, like fight for that shit at all costs. So that's why I can get very squishy, because I can go very deep on this. I like my craft, I'm passionate, I do my thing, but like, the fuck does it mean? Who here spends time with 90-year-olds that are not their relatives? Then I guarantee those 6 or 7 hands, you should, if you're paying attention, know what to do. Which means no 90-year-old is talking about any of the nonsense that's running through your head.
Over the years, I've realised my goals aren't to climb the corporate ladder or chase a title, but I still care about my career, and I love to learn, develop, and grow. My question is, how can I make sure I feel fulfilled and that I'm growing without having to chase the title?
I mean, it doesn't sound like you're putting the title on a pedestal. Doesn't that just end the game right there? I promise you that we'll never promote you and give you a better title. No, but really, do you feel like there's a part of you that feels like you're supposed to?
I think that's just the way that the corporate industry...
I actually think you and I might be very similar. Let me explain. When I hear them, I think that So I am who I am, but I give it no power. You could be the chief production officer of VaynerMedia one day globally, but if you don't think that validates you, then it holds no power. Like, I don't give any power to me being Garyvee or being the CEO of Vayner. So you can still grow, but that doesn't mean you sold out or you compromised if you don't give it any weight. I believe that I want to be judged on how I treat people, not by how much money I make. So you can continue to crush at Vayner like you're doing and keep getting promoted, but if you are detached from that title, then you are detached from that title. This is super fascinating. My ability to even remember shit that didn't work is an extreme challenge for me. So what hasn't worked? Many different initiatives within Vayner, right? I've been trying to start a Vayner Live events like company and division multiple times. I tried a sampling division inside of Vayner. It's like almost everything doesn't work. Like, you know, I'm also good at it, so a lot of things do work, but, you know, I never bet the whole farm on things. Notice how I helped the guy with the tax thing? Like, you don't email all 10 because the shit might fuck up. You go to 2, and if it fucks up, you're still alive. So I have this fear of high risk, but never to put myself out of business. And I've really not done that many things in the scheme of things, meaning I've done a ton of things, but like betting all of it. But even like, think about the clarity that I've given almost every answer on this. And this gentleman's asking me like what things haven't worked. And I'm like trying to process here on stage what hasn't worked. It's like, I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. Like, and nothing ever really big, you know, like I've never been the active runner of a business that didn't succeed. There's been side projects. At one point I tried to start a full-fledged buying toys at garage sales and selling them on eBay business, and I put like a former friend and a cousin in it, and it failed miserably. But like, I didn't run it. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I set it up. And so, usually if I'm driving, it's gonna be okay, but many initiatives haven't worked.